You know, I love when there's like a lot of themes and a lot of like concepts. And this record, the concept is that they're coming together. Like we always talk about Marshall McLuhan, the medium is the message. The medium of them coming together is really the message, which is dope. You can't really ask for more.
Yo, it's Hatchet Chat
with Lars and Snax.
Your Juggalo homies talking hatchet tracks.
There's hatchet beats
and hatchet raps. The whole catalog's packed
full of classic gems, and we talk about them all on Hatchet Chat.
Whoop whoop.
What up, Juggalos? Welcome back to Hatchet Chat. We got another cool episode for you to cover. Another piece of incredible, dope, fresh awesomeness that we've gotten this late spring / early summer. Of course, last episode, me and Lars did Shaggy Two Dopes. Hold on, I'm going to try and get the title right. Shaggy Two Dope presents Professor Shags and the Quest for the Ultimate Group. And this episode, of course, we're covering the three-headed monster release, Obliteration. Lars, man, what are some of your thoughts?
We were talking about how the Chimera, which is a fire-breathing monster from Greek mythology, it's a female, first of all, has a lion's head, a goat's body, and a serpent's tail. So if we were to extrapolate like the imagery of the psychopathic and horrorcore underground, how it would manifest itself in the metonymy of the Chimera, Jay's the lion's head because he's obviously the one funding this project and leading the way. Esham's the goat body because he's the goat, the greatest of all time. He created the wicked-ish. And Ouija's the serpent because he's got like that sick, quick, fast rapping style, and he's like the one like pulling the train from behind and like holding it down. So the Chimera is what we were thinking about, and it's also the kaiju element of the Ghidorah, which is the three-headed dragon. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's like a Japanese word, but that's like the cover art, the three of them. The Nerdcore guys and I, we even created a similar thing, taking something from the popular culture. The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse in front of that was like, well, we all wear glasses. Lars wears contacts, but when he's not wearing contacts, he wears glasses, and we're the four-eyed horsemen of the apocalypse. So it's a similar thing, you know, take the brand, the number of you, and reference it to something in the popular culture, which works. And that's why our tours with the Nerdcore stuff, back when we were doing that, were good. Not to make it about my small subgenre, but like, it's just interesting how the way you catch people's attention is doing collaborations. You know, I love when there's like a lot of themes and a lot of like concepts, and this record, the concept is that they're coming together. Like we always talk about Marshall McLuhan, the medium is the message. The medium of them coming together is really the message, which is dope. You can't really ask for more. So I said a lot, man. Do you want to talk about the background and we can start talking about the tracks?
No doubt, dude. What's crazy about this too, like it's a new supergroup in the Juggalo lore, the three-headed monster, like we were talking about, Esham, Violent J, and Ouija Macc. We first heard that three-headed monster name in relation to the three-headed monster tour with those three homies. And then, to all of our surprise, we got a single, Fire Breathin, from the group, which was also released as a CD single for the VIP tour package. And the first day of the tour, we got an announcement that there would be a full three-headed monster project just 2 days after that announcement. So that's when this was able to be heard in its entirety, June 1st. And we may as well get into the track breakdown. What do you think, Lars?
Let's do it. I like how the intro track flips the Twilight Zone sample, so we all of a sudden have this like classic horror just surreal vibe. I guess it's like Twilight Zone is not so much horror, right? It's more like science fiction kind of horror, and like Godzilla is kind of more science fiction than horror because it's like a lot of the kaiju stuff is what happens when your entire culture has been rocked by a nuclear event and mutation becomes part of your cultural lexicon, right? So like Godzilla and everything. That's why a lot of the anime like Akira and everything is like how you function and find agency in a post-apocalyptic society. And a lot of the Dark Carnival mythology is like in a post-World War II society where car manufacturing and the economies of Germany and Japan have taken the opportunities from Gen X in the Midwest. How do you use hip-hop to find redemption? So like you can draw connections between that, right? How the horrors of the mid-20th century both affected, informed, and gave sort of like thematic agency to the popular culture. That's like something they tie into. Twilight Zone is like what happens when your sense of reality is flipped. you know, and it's like,
Right.
that's why that show was so interesting, because it was like, what if one little thing goes wrong? What do you think about it?
What's cool about it too is like the production on this intro kind of foreshadows some of the production on the actual project with that more like orchestral kind of sound, almost reminiscent. We were talking about this, Lars, of that Jedi mind tricks kind of style of production, even some necro stylings on here. Super cool, of course. Basically a simple intro. Violent J in the second half, Violent J, Esham, and Ouija come on and introduce themselves, each as a different part of that three-headed monster. And then we go into track 2, Fire Breathin', that was released as a single off of this album. And this one is produced by a very dope producer called Dead Heat. We'll just mention the producers real quick, because there's no official production credits for the full project as of the recording of this episode, but we do know some of the producers because some of them went on social media to promote the album and talk about it when it came out. One of those was Dead Heat. He did a couple of tracks on here, including this one. The beat is so crazy. You got Jay, Esham, Ouija Macc exchanging raps about all the horrific things and all the chaos the three-headed monster is capable of. You know what it reminds me of? I feel like I gotta listen to this album while playing the game Rampage. Remember the arcade game Rampage where you could choose the either the giant lizard, the wolf, or the King Kong style monster? That's what I'm doing after we record this, man.
And they made a Rampage movie. I never saw it with The Rock a few years ago.
Dude, that went so far under my radar, I can't even express it. I can't believe the combination of words that just came out of your mouth. There's a movie based on Rampage with The Rock.
Yeah, in 2018.
Dude, speaking of Twilight Zone, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone that movie exists. I can't believe I never heard of it. That's crazy. Sounds pretty fresh, though.
I have not seen it, but I definitely was excited about it and then didn't see it. And that didn't get great reviews, but that's what's up. We stay positive on Hatchet Chat. And then the next song has the Training Day sample, right? About, what is the sample?
Yeah, Crushin. That King Kong ain't got bleep on me is from Training Day, the Denzel Washington movie. There's also another sample that says a similar thing. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. I'm not sure what that sample is from, but that goes in with that big kaiju kind of theme that's very prevalent on this release. And Crushin is just basically flexing in the form of a giant kaiju monster.
And then Clownzilla, shout out to Shaggy, who also worked on this Shaggy 2 Dope record, is
yeah, man, Shaggy the Airhead.
Shaggy the Airhead. It's just Jay though, this song, right?
Yeah, man, for sure. And that's the thing about this record. Like, there's like I think at least one solo track from each of the members on this project, and this is the first one, Clownzilla, as you mentioned, produced by Shaggy the Airhead, just going hard with more of those kaiju themes, talking about how he's Clownzilla. I love that Zug Island reference too. God, Zuggalo, Clownzilla, no, like, you know, still repping that Zug Island, of course, part of Detroit and just Dark Carnival lore. Juggalos for Jesus. When I heard this song, I was like, man, Ouija is going like hardcore wicked shit, just ruthless, basically reminiscent of that Esham, old school Esham flavor. And it's almost like poetic in a way, because you got like this next generation of the wicked shit in a super group with Violent J and Esham, like some of the two biggest pioneers of the wicked shit. Of course, Esham, coined the term wicked shit, but Esham got a lot more kind of uplifting lyrics. In fact, the next song we're going to talk about, like, it's almost such a weird poetic juxtaposition. On this song, straight up just wicked shit rapping, man.
Yeah, it's a great song, but I guess he's saying they laughed at him for being a juggalo.
Yeah, like from the intro and outro, like with that low pitch down preacher character, it is like the preacher does seem to look down on the juggalos as like evil and stuff like that. It is kind of a characterization of like maybe like one of those hellfire and brimstone preachers.
I'm a fan of Ouija, and so it's cool, but I would have loved to, I don't know why this song struck such a chord and why I've been talking about it so much, but
well, man, yeah, well, yeah. Dude, it can be like, it's intense, dude. And it's funny because these days the animosity is there against religion. Of course, church hurt is a real thing. People have had bad experiences, but there's this like shift where hardcore evangelicals, I think they always were poked fun at, but now it's like you could see it happen. One of our favorite shows, The Simpsons, right? Ned Flanders was always like the most upstanding character on that show. Of course, they poke fun at how devout they were, the whole family, but he kind of morphed over the years into like a caricature just to poke fun almost at evangelicals. So it's funny how we've seen that cultural shift in a short amount of time. And I'm not saying this is indicative of that, because of course Ouija is a Wicked Shit fan. He could just be trying to write some ruthless ass lyrics. But you're right, that those vigilante themes aren't present on this one.
They're just anarchist in a way, which
Right.
is like, in a way, that's kind of the, like, cultures become fragmented. So anything that's like remnant of centralized power, people are distrustful of, I think. And that's why
Right.
church is part of that. So like a cool song like Ouija's, now we're talking about like church and its role in Western culture. Like, he's gotten us talking, and that's what good art does. I would never want to censor the dude, obviously, and like, he's a great rapper and he's some great bars. So, the song was dope, and I wanted to leave it alone, but I think it was one of the biggest tracks on there, and I don't want to sell my soul. So let's talk about the next three. What are they called? Transitions.
Yeah, that's right, dude. And Don't Sell Your Soul, which is that track we were talking about with Esham, that giant juxtaposition between Juggalos for Jesus and Don't Sell Your Soul. This one is actually also produced by Dead Heat, and it's an Esham solo track. Again, it's that flip-flop. Esham was the originator of some of the most like ruthless lyrics, the most outwardly satanic lyrics, and now he's got kind of a spiritual, like a positive, uplifting message, giving you advice to stay, focused and don't sell out, because whether it's just a more just literal term as far as drugs or something else, it never works out. And he's going through all kinds of different examples of this. And of course, there's a sample from the Scarface movie underneath the hook and stuff. Think it's a dope track. What about you?
I think it's tight. I could listen to Esham all day. I mean, what I think this album is missing is like songs where the three of them are using their size and being bigger is a reflection of their rap skills in the game.
No doubt, man. And what's really cool, Lars, I wanted to pick your brain about this one. The hook where it's biggest, realest, killers, right? Did that remind you of Sleepwalkers, choke 'em, kill 'em, stab 'em, right? I feel like it has to be an interpolation. What about you, man? The Hollow Wicked track Sleepwalkers.
Yeah, I think it's an interpolation too. I think it's on purpose. It's a reference to that.
I think so, man. I thought that was a cool throwback.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Ouija pitched that, because he's such a student of the old school stuff. I don't know.
Right.
And Jay's like, okay, that's dope. I didn't realize that was a Hollow Wicked single. For some reason, I felt like that was on Ringmaster or something, because it stands out as one of the more iconic songs. But that is he's like
100%.
da 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 da. That's his whole flow, right?
Dude, yes. And the funny thing, you mentioned that melody, that almost has a throwback on Revenge on Flip the Rat, the EP that came with Fearless Fred Fury. That really has that same kind of melody too. So it's almost like, you're right, this track is so iconic that it gets shouted out.
That is interesting. It's like Dirtball was on heavy metal, but then it's in the outro on the Wraith. It's like, it's interesting how, the singles,
those deep cuts, can become,
Who put the chicken off the plate? Who took the chicken off the plate and put it in the fridge? That's famous. Yeah,
you're so right, man. That's another great example of these like things that if it was a normal band, it would be like probably 20% of people would maybe get the reference, but because Juggalos were so ravenous and we will listen to everything they put out pretty much, that a random track could become huge. Like Take Me Home, we talked about on Forgotten Freshness number 3, a B-Sides Rarity compilation. The final track on that has been used to close out concerts, and just goes to show, man, ICP put their all into whatever they're doing.
Or how about a song that's so iconic and like people reflect it, connect it with an era that was never on the record, like the Juggalo chant, right? That was never came out, but that's the Wraith theme song. It's like, it's crazy, right? It's just so weird. Doesn't it feel like that was on the Wraith, but it wasn't? It was just the live. We will.
Yeah, and it was on like that sampler thing, you know, the 6 sampler, but it never. Like, I think those are just handed out. I'm not even sure what those were all about because it came with like an audio version of the seminar, and you're totally right. Like, that is one of the biggest chants. Everybody knows that song. I bet you if you went to the YouTube rip of it, it's got like a ton of listens. Another great example, absolutely.
This is for the hardcore, and if you're listening and you're paying much attention, if you email me at lars@mclars.com, I'm going to send you an unreleased song. By
Dude.
ICP. No, just kidding. By me.
Man, I will call that flavor as well, man. You can email me at mcsnacks709@gmail.com. I will also send you an unreleased song. You're right. The people listening, you got to be hardcore about this stuff like we are. So we want to hook you up, man. We did it once before, I think. I maybe forgot Fresh this before. People were hitting us up. So I still got a few more that have not seen the light of day.
That's what's up. Esham is talking about spirituality and social issues. His conscious hip hop song. It's cool that the OG is like holding it down with some wisdom, you know? Esham's got a good heart.
Yeah, dude, Esham's the man, and dude, he really stands out on this album, in my opinion. Like, in some ways, he kind of stole the show, if there is such a thing. I think everybody killed it, but I found myself, you know, with the first half, I was really looking forward to, you know, more Esham, and you know, he gets kind of a bit more deeper on this again, kind of talking about everything, a bit of everything, but he's kind of being more serious, and it's cool because he's kind of addressing, you know, his staying power in hip hop and his place in hip hop as the scene morphed. And I know you were feeling that Public Enemy sample from Can't Trust It in the hook, right?
I was feeling that, and I loved how they cleared it, and like how they gave Chuck D a split of the streaming royalty. Is awesome. So shout out to them for that. Like, that was cool. And
no doubt.
I have a Toady story, but it's not a good one. So, but I'm gonna share it anyway. My friend Sean, who was Bowling for Soup's tour manager, is from Dallas, and he was tour managing the Toadies, and they played Slims in San Francisco. And I came and hung out with them on the bus. They were real friendly and asking about the tour I did with Bowling for Soup and sharing their sodas and everything. And they were real nice to a young MC Lars who was excited to see his boy Sean tour managing them. And they were real cool and humble, nice people who were just out there happy to be like selling out, you know, mid-sized venues back in 2005. So I always loved Possum Kingdom, and I love that song a lot because they were cool to me. You know what I'm saying? So like when I heard Jay doing this, I'm like, oh. And I always felt like this song was kind of like it's like another love song. It's just like a strange song where he's threatening to kill someone, but you know he's checking for that 90s alt rock and taking songs that have a weird theme by these one-hit wonder bands and then making them his own. That's definitely a 2021, 22, 2023 Violent J aesthetic. And that's just because the culture's so decentralized. He's reminding us that it didn't always used to be. And the songs are cool. What do you think about his cover?
Yeah, dude, I think that Another Love Song with the Beck kind of cover is it's a good analogy for this one. I think Jay is just kind of having fun. He even references like doing like karaoke. I forget exactly what he says, but something like, I hope you enjoy the karaoke, or some karaoke fun or something like that. Which I think just indicates he's just, basically doing this cover for kicks. And it's wild, man. Like, it's the full song, basically. There is some lyrics that were changed around. And I only know this because I was going through the lyrics on Genius. And a ninja we shouted out before, Mushy Mustard Transcriber, he actually put in some annotations that the lyrics, my blushing bride, my lover, were changed to, in this version, my rotting bride, dead lovers. And then also the lyrics in the original with dark hair and soft skin were changed to with white hair and pale skin, almost reminiscent of some of that Cemetery Girl flavor. Another thing significant, and leave it to Psychopathic Records artists to put something this kind of intriguing and important in a random song like a Toadies cover on a, basically a tour project release. Because on this song, Lars, dude, there's some backmasking. And again, from Genius, I found, and this was submitted by a ninja named The Ghost of Horror, which it said was accepted by Mushy Mustard Transcriber, so I don't know if he's like a moderator or how that works, but that's what the credits were for this annotation, because the backmasking on this track apparently says, it's the sixth, purgatory, that which thou wants, thou gets. Lars, that's huge, dude. If we're getting the sixth, hints and Easter eggs, man, what are your thoughts, bro?
Well, Purgatory is the upcoming Esham record, right?
That's exactly. That's another thing. So Juggalos aren't really sure. Like, is the sixth? Is it going to be Purgatory besides like Hell's Pit and Shangri-La? Because ICP have mentioned before that Hell's Pit and Shangri-La were going to be the logical conclusion to the second deck as well. But this kind of makes it seem like maybe it'll be a Purgatory theme. But like you said, Esham, his upcoming album, he's been promoting for a while, it's called Purgatory. I don't know, dude. My thoughts are racing. My speech is racing. I can't make any sense of it, but I'm excited.
Yeah, that quote's interesting because in Matthew 7:7, that which thou seekest, thou shalt find. And that's like a variation of that. So it's like what you put out there comes back to you. So do you want to die? It's like, okay, trying to find redemption by going back to like this sad message. You know what I mean? Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. So is that it might be a Matthew 7:7 reference. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's exciting though, right?
Well, yeah, but they're also plugging Esham's record, Purgatory.
Right. Yeah, which is cool. It might be a double, and maybe like it could be both. Like the Joker's cards could have Purgatory themes as well, but it could be just a hybrid plug. Hard to say.
Kiccin The Bass is ill. I play this song for my son a lot. And he likes this, and he likes Illuminati Don't Want Me. And I bump those two when Mommy's not in the car. Kiccin The Bass has a great sample of Dead Body Man from Terror Wheel and Riddle Box. And I messaged Devereaux, said, it's my favorite beat on the record. He hit me back right away. Thanks, bro. Much love, bro. Because Devereaux's nice with the Instagram DMs. Shout out to our boy Devereaux. This song is dope.
Much love, Devereaux.
It's not the first time Ouija Macc's been rapping over a sample from Dead Body Man and it being this ill, like Dead Body Man 3, where I first heard Ouija. So hopefully he'll keep sampling Dead Body Man because it works.
Yeah, dude. And it's so crazy because we were talking about Shaggy Two Dope's EP and how it kind of has some of those throwbacks of the cowbells and that lo-fi production to Memphis production flavor, like that Memphis horrorcore flavor. And this really has that with those pitched down repeated vocal samples that Devereaux's doing. This is one of those tracks we know who produced it, Devereaux, and just crazy dope production. He's also done that on some other beats that he's done with those old school wicked shit samples, pitched down vocal samples. Love it. Ouija is just going hard. And you're right, man. Ouija must be a fan of that Dead Body Man song because this is like one of a couple references. So dope.
That Chopped and Screwed thing is a Houston DJ Screw thing that influenced Memphis hip hop a lot. So that's kind of the vibe of that. Yeah, it's just classic. Shaggy has a little skit where he's talking about the three-headed monster over the orchestral samples, and then Mikey Clark is remixing Fire Breathin', which is dope. And then the record's over. So yeah, strong tour mixtape that will definitely be remembered.
And we're waiting on Weepin' Woe. Still very looking forward to that, in addition to the 6th Joker's card that's imminent. And we might get them close together based on that interesting Easter egg on Possum Kingdom. Juggalos, we want you to have a safe gathering and just enjoy. We'll be with you in spirit. Lars and I aren't going to be there in person this year, but we are with you in Juggalo spirit, right, Lars?
Whoop whoop. This is great, and I appreciate everyone checking for Hatchet Chat and for subscribing to the new channel. That's what's up. I'm MC Lars.
I'm MC Snax. Y'all whoop whoop and much clown love.
Whoop whoop.